Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' It's D. About to react to this impressive vid. This is Dark Truth about Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade exploiting their trans daughter. And TJ Holmes gets replaced. Child, I don't care about him no more. But yeah, I want to know how they're exploiting her. Let's see what's going on. Let's watch.
Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union are... Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Impressive Channel. I want to talk about some new updates involving the scandal between the Good Morning America co-host, or should I say, soon-to-be former Good Morning America co-host, TJ Holmes and Amy Robach. Now, I'm pretty sure you all have heard the story, but it was put on blast that TJ and Amy had a very scandalous affair. They actually were cheated on their spouses with each other. And this story has become so messy to the point that the ABC News president, Kim Godwin, got involved and had to suspend both TJ and Amy. Now, what's interesting is they already found TJ's replacement. They brought in another news anchor named DeMarco Morgan, and not by coincidence, DeMarco seems to have a very similar look to TJ, and he even has a similar speaking voice to TJ. Happy birthday,
No, really. Thank you, guys. Thank you. This is what, my third birthday I've had. I'm DeMarco Morgan. You're probably wondering, who's this brother right here? This new guy.
So basically, the network was scrambling to find themselves another butterscotch-colored brother to fill in for TJ. And I think this is bad news for TJ because it looks like he's being permanently booted from the show. Now, do I feel sorry for him? Not necessarily, because he was cheating on his wife. He embarrassed and humiliated his wife. And he wasn't only cheating on her with his co-anchor, Amy, but he was also cheating on her with one of the former producers on the show named Natasha Singh. So TJ was out here laying it low and spreading it wide with several of his married female co-workers. So they were like, get this butterscotch brother out of here. He's out here causing chaos, and he's making the Good Morning America brand look bad. So at this point, I think they might try to get rid of him for violating the company's guidelines. Now, it's going to be very interesting to me if they decide to keep Amy after all of this. Personally, I think they need to get rid of Amy as well because she is just as much of a liability, and she also is a part of the problem. But TJ, of course, is facing more backlash because he's had multiple affairs in the workplace. And also, let's call out the obvious, he's a black man, so they're going to treat him harsher than somebody like Amy, who is a white woman. Let's be real. So his career will be permanently ruined. I don't think he will be able to work at any other network with his reputation, and I wish he would have considered the ramifications before risking it all like this. I think he made a very bad decision, and he should have never cheated on his wife. His wife took him back, and he still betrayed her trust. I mean, it's just a mess, so he has to face the consequences. I'm not sure if he's going to be permanently removed, but it seems to me like they're moving in that direction. So, too bad for TJ. Now, moving on, I want to get into this mess between Gabrielle Union and the rapper Boosie. This is probably the most unexpected beef that I've seen in a minute, but here we are. Now, Lil Boosie has given his unsolicited opinion about Dwayne Wade's transgender daughter, Zaya Wade. Now, Boosie was very disturbed at the idea that Zaya was transitioning from a boy to a girl at the age of 12 years old, and he had a lot of opinions about it. Now, the public would not have known about this if Dwayne Wade did not go on several different interviews talking about his child's gender. So Dwayne was really the one who opened up the door for his child to be critiqued and scrutinized by the likes of people like Boosie. So he actually takes some blame here, and later on in this video I am going to talk about this in more detail because I kind of do feel like Dwayne is exploiting his child to some extent. But back to the topic at hand, Boosie was out of line for speaking on Zaya because Zaya is a child. Yes, he's allowed to have his own opinion, but at the end of the day, people have to be mindful when they're talking about other people's children. So I didn't necessarily agree with him going on and on about Zaya. I thought it was a little off-putting. He seems too concerned, honestly, about these issues. Now, Dwayne Wade's wife, Gabrielle Union, brought up Boosie during her interview with Jamil Hill, and this is what she said in response to what Boosie said about Zaya.
Sorry, Boosie.
Sorry, not sorry.
He's so preoccupied.
Yeah, he is. Very much
almost
so.
Like, thou dost protest too much, little booze.
I'm gonna look.
You got a lot of dick on your mind.
I mean, it's
throw
like
that out there.
It's like Zaya and Lil Nas X live in his head. Respectfully, like what?
It's like, sir, something you want to just go ahead and tell us. This is a safe space.
So that's what Gabrielle had to say. I mean, he was speaking on her family. He was speaking on her husband's child. So she felt the need to call him out. Now, do I think it was necessary for her to imply that Boosie was gay and use that as an insult towards him? Not necessarily. It is odd for somebody like Gabrielle, who is an LGBTQ plus advocate, to use somebody's sexuality as a way to take a dig at them.
I don't think I don't know. I personally don't like that either. I will agree that when women use that as an insult for a man, like, oh, you're gay, just to be insulting when it doesn't even apply or there's no relevance, I don't agree with that. But in this particular case, he does seem pretty preoccupied with how the LGBTQ community is moving. So it is concerning. I think that's a reasonable assumption and or question. Like, why are you this concerned about this, sir? What does this have to do with you? You're not even in this community. Why do you have all these opinions about how this community operates and what they should and shouldn't be doing? I think that's reasonable to question. She was kind of being shady at the same time, but I do think it's reasonable because that definitely popped in my head. Even when he was going on his little rants about Lil Nas X, it popped in my head then. And not to be insulting, but I really wonder, like, why do you care? Like, why the fuck do you care?
That's very odd. So I will say her response was a little off-putting in that sense, but she was just returning the energy. Boosie was being messy towards her family, so she was being petty and messy towards him. Now, when Boosie caught wind of this clip, he went on Twitter and said this, LOL, the whole world know I love women and the world know your husband loves D. I hope you don't think blacks look at y'all like a power couple. They don't. I have refused to talk about y'all in interviews, and here you go. Go bang him with that dildo and wait on a script, you little white girl.
You little white girl.
What? How does he know that Dwayne likes D? And why is he calling Gabrielle a little white girl? I mean, Boosie sounds ridiculous. He does sound ridiculous. I don't know what he's talking about, but he is super messy. And I don't think he should have spoke on Zaya in the first place, personally. I think he should have left that alone. But I will say this. The reason why Boosie was emboldened to even say anything in the first place is because Dwayne Wade publicized his child's transitioning. And this is the problem I have with Dwayne Wade and even Gabrielle, because I do feel like she plays a part in this too.
Especially, these are his peers. Like, he's a really big celebrity. I mean, that's debatable, whatever. He's a celebrity, so these are his peers. So I think just randomly speaking on it, when you're not getting paid to do so, it's not a part of your job, you just randomly decided to hop online and give your unsolicited opinion, I think that's weird. Whether Dwayne Wade put it out there or not, I just think it's odd. I don't know why he felt the need to do that.
They both, in a way, have used Zaya for publicity. Whether they realize it or not, they both have done it. And it does come across as if they are exploiting Zaya.
Or are they trying to normalize it?
Now, from my understanding, Zaya was actually relieved when Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle spoke about her transitioning publicly. At least this is what Gabrielle said in her interview with Jamel Hill. However, I think Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle are going overboard. Now, if they wanted to make a statement, they can make that statement and leave it at that. But to go on different interviews talking about this child and opening up this child to public scrutiny is really the wrong move, and it makes you question their intentions. And it's not to say that they don't love Zaya, but they know the benefit of using Zaya's sexuality as a talking point because it gives them publicity. So in a sense, they are exploiting Zaya. Now, they could have done it a different way. They could have been like Magic Johnson, for example. Magic Johnson has a flamboyant child named E.J. Johnson.
Oh, E.J. transition?
Magic Johnson hasn't gone on different press tours talking about his child's sexuality. But you see that he supports E.J., and that support is loud enough. He doesn't need to get attention for himself or his career by talking about his son's sexuality. Unfortunately, I can't really say the same thing for Dwayne or Gabrielle. Now, switching gears a little bit, I want to get into this whole...
I will say that... So I'm going to pause it. That being trans is a bit more controversial, if you will, than being gay. Being gay, I would argue, is more accepted than being trans. So that's kind of different. That's a different situation. So maybe they are trying to normalize it, and they're trying to be public about it and public with their support for their daughter, and hoping that, you know, it'll help change the environment, you know, help change society. They're doing their part so that they can have they can have people be more accepting of it, so it'll create a better life for their daughter down the line. You know what I mean? I feel like that's probably what they're trying to do. That's just the vibe that I get. I could be wrong, though. Maybe they are trying to exploit her. I don't fucking know. But that's just my thought process.
Drama between Dwayne and his ex-wife.
I feel like I could have articulated that better, but y'all know what
I'm saying.
Right
now, Dwayne is mad because Savon has objections to allowing their child Zaya to change her gender and her name before the age of 18 years old. Now, Savon does have objections to this because she is wary of Dwayne and his wife Gabrielle Union's intentions. She feels like they're pushing for this to continue to exploit Zaya. Not only that, she wants to protect Zaya because Zaya is still a minor. And since Zaya is a minor, Savon still has some say-so in matters that involve her child. But Dwayne Wade is furious about this, and he has put Savon on blast on social media. And this is something that should have been a private matter, but he decided to take it to the public. And I think he did this as a way to kind of villainize Savon. If you don't know, Dwayne and Savon have had a very rocky relationship over the years, and it wasn't always rocky. I mean, Dwayne and Savon knew each other since they were children. They were actually childhood friends, and Savon's family even took Dwayne in at one point because he had a rough time at home. So they were very close at one point, and they did eventually get married in 2002. But soon after they got married, things started to change. Savon said things took a turn for the worse. Their marriage was allegedly plagued with abuse and infidelity. And she also said Dwayne changed completely once he got into the NBA.
When I noticed it was happening, that he was changing and changing for the worse, there's nothing wrong with change. But changing for the worse is bad. And I saw him, in exchange for money and fame, selling his soul. I saw him taking, his character and exchanging it for yet another endorsement or yet another fan, and that was the problem.
Eventually, Dwayne and Savon's marriage began to crumble, especially with all of the alleged infidelity that was going on. Now, a lot of people speculate that Dwayne's now wife, Gabrielle Union, was one of the women that he was cheating on Savon with. While they were married, Gabrielle was eyeing Dwayne Wade, and this was actually back in 2005. According to this magazine article, Star Telegram, when Wade's wife showed up last month at an All-Star Game event in Denver without her significant other, actress Gabrielle Union told her, "You tell your husband that I'm a big fan of his." Interestingly enough, Gabrielle would go on to date Dwayne Wade while he was still legally married to Savon. And Dwayne and Savon were separated at the time. I just want to make a note of that. But it is interesting that they got separated the same year Dwayne met Gabrielle. That's quite a coincidence there. But eventually Dwayne and Savon got divorced in 2010. And their divorce was pretty messy, and it led to them getting into this very nasty child custody battle. They both were fighting over the custody of their two children, Zaire and Zaya, but Dwayne eventually won primary custody because he had the money, influence, and resources to win, basically. But it was definitely a fight. Savon fought to get her children, but she lost. And I think she felt alienated from her children because of the whole situation. Gabrielle Union pretty much stepped in to be that motherly figure. So that's kind of a brief backstory of the issues between Dwayne and Savon. It really goes deep. And I think this whole situation with Zaya now is adding more salt to the wound. And Savon is at a point where she just wants to have say. This is her child. She wants to protect her child. And she feels like Dwayne is exploiting her child. And I feel the same way too, to be honest. I feel like Dwayne is exploiting Zaya to some extent. And that's not to say that he doesn't love his child, because I do believe he really loves his child. But at the same time, I couldn't help but notice that a lot of his interviews, especially in the past couple of years, has been about Zaya's transitioning. He has literally done press tours about Zaya. And Gabrielle has done the same thing. Anytime there's something for them to promote, Zaya's name always comes up. So I can't say Savon is crazy for believing that her child is being exploited.
But maybe they just asking them the questions and they giving answers.
That way, at least in my opinion. And Dwayne and Gabrielle understand that there is a benefit to advocating for Zaya's transitioning. They understand that it helps their publicity. They understand that it gives them support from the LGBTQ plus community. It also helps their status in Hollywood. Let's be real. Like, it's helping Dwayne's celebrity profile, and it's extending his relevancy post his basketball career.
Really?
And the fact that he's being viewed as an advocate and a social activist does give him rewards. So it is helping his status, and also it's helping Gabrielle Union's career. For the longest time, Gabrielle could not get out of that black Hollywood box. But now she's becoming more mainstream.
Where?
So it's all a strategy.
I'm not being shady.
And the more
Where?
Savon sees them pushing Zaya, the more she believes that, okay, they're doing it for their own self-gain. So that's the biggest issue that she has with it. She has
Bring It On 12.
issues with them exploiting her child.
Bitch, what movie is she in?
And it's unfortunate that she doesn't have enough influence
Girl, you about to
on
reach
her
it.
child, because she's not there
her
all the time.
She's
She's been kind of alienated from her children in a sense.
She is 50.
And
She's
it's not
fine.
like she's a deadbeat. She does try to connect with them. She is close to her oldest child, Zaire. And I see Zaire commenting on her Instagram posts, but I don't get the feeling that she has the same bond with Zaya. And I do believe a lot of it has to do with some of the influences.
None of these are mainstream.
Kind of
I never heard of none of these straight to DVD movies.
I don't get the feeling that Dwayne and Gabrielle made it easy for them
to have
a relationship.
Is that
Especially Dwayne. Dwayne has
the
mother to the point that Zaya probably believes that she is the enemy. So I don't know. I think that their relationship is strained because of those influences. But I do hope that Zaya and Savon build a bond in the future and come to a level of some understanding and acceptance between each other. But anyway, so what y'all think about this video?
It was all a lie. I'm looking at the IMDb. Child, she ain't in nothing mainstream. In 2022, she was in 3 straight to DVD, straight to streaming service movies that I ain't ever heard of. Strange World, The Inspection, Cheaper by the Dozen. That sounds familiar, but definitely not no 2022. I feel like I've heard of a movie called that. Maybe a show. I don't fucking know. No, looking at the actors. I'm sorry. It's not giving mainstream at all. I'm not trying to be shady at all. The facts are just the facts. I don't feel like they're exploiting her. That's not the vibe that I'm getting, but I don't keep up with them like that, to be honest. So I don't know what they're saying exactly in these interviews, but it's just not making much sense that they would need their daughter to advance their careers and keep them relevant and keep them, keep their names out there. I don't think they need that. I'm pretty sure they're good, like financially, like they're a really popular power couple, if you will, not according to Boozy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just personally not getting that vibe. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. Maybe they are exploiting her. Who fucking knows? Y'all let me know. And I'll see y'all the next time. Bye.